really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The evening has been
hoping that you
so very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
my mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace.
Oh, really, I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Or maybe
worry.
just a half a drink more.
Put some records on while I pour.
Neighbors might think,
baby, it's bad out
hey,
there.
say, what's in this drink?
Cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how
As I like stars
to break the spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I ought to say no, no, no,
mind if I'm
man.
moving
At least I'm
closer?
gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense in hurting my pride?
I really can't stay.
Baby, don't.
But baby, it's cold outside. I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold out.
So I didn't have a whole lot going on today. Oh, Sansa cam. Sansa. Hi. Hello. So I didn't have a whole lot going on today, so I wanted to show off this project bag that I recently made from some scrap fabric that I had left over from my advent calendar. This is a bag that's just a self-drafted pattern. And what I ended up doing is I took some scraps and I made them into half square triangles. So that's what all of this is around the top and down the side of this bag are half square triangles. You can see them on the bottom as well. And I pieced those together surrounding this beautiful print of just sort of a snowy scene. Like an old-timey snowy scene with a Sansa is really wanting to cuddle. And so there's this Christmas tree and it's just this beautiful snowy scene. And on the back, I made 2 of these bags, and the other bag has the half square triangles from this. And then I used the scraps of making the half square triangles to make even more of these, I don't know what you would call this, but these sort of square triangle pieces of those scraps, which I felt really clever about because I was using all of the pieces of this fabric. So literally I don't have any scraps left. And then on the back, on the side, I used another scrap piece of this fabric and I just thought it was so cute with that snowman. And I just love how it turned out. It's super festive. And I lined it with just this linen that I had as a scrap left over. And it's just a drawstring bag. And the top, I just did some interfacing onto this Santa fabric. And I think this Santa fabric is so kitschy and amazing. All right, hello and welcome to December 4th. Today has been kind of a boring day here in Denver for me and my husband, mostly because, you know, when you're sick and you're generally feeling better and better and then you just have a day where you're feeling worse, that was today for us. Yeah, just, I think for those of you who don't know, we both have COVID right now. I am a doctor in town, so I've had many exposures to COVID and caught it. And so in general, we have been doing well. And we've definitely gotten quite sick and with fevers and things like that. And it just felt like we were on the mend, and then had a little bit of a step back today. Was feeling not as well today, but that's just the nature of things, and I think things will hopefully continue to get better. One of my lovely cousins, Jessie, is bringing over a Christmas tree and delivering it to our house tomorrow. And I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to set it up and decorate, and I think that will lift my spirits a little bit, because I also just think like being stuck at home and not even being able to like go outside for a walk is starting to get to me. But we only have a couple more days of our quarantine, so hopefully I'll start to feel better soon. I am here to just talk about a knitted object and then a book. The knitted object that I am wearing right now is one of my favorite sweaters. It is my Diagon Alley jumper by Fable Knitwear, and I have knit it out of a Woolberry Fiber Co. yarn in a sort of gold color that also has speckles and pops of like really dark brown, black, and red. And I really love this yarn. This is a DK weight yarn, and it's actually a yarn that Sean got for me, my husband got for me last year for Christmas. So this was my Christmas present from him. It was 4 skeins of this yarn and then the pattern to this sweater, which was amazing, and I immediately cast it on. Fable Knitwear is one of my favorite designers. I really love everything that she makes. I think that she has like a really beautiful aesthetic and makes things that are simple and timeless. This, like I said, is a DK weight sweater. It's knit from the bottom up, which I know that a lot of people don't like bottom up sweaters because they can't try them on or something. But for me, it's probably my favorite way to knit a sweater, because you're kind of forced to do the hard part of the sweater first. And also, I just have this weird thing where I really like that you knit the sleeves and attach them and then kind of knit up the rest, because it makes it so that you don't have that annoying thing when you're knitting sleeves where it's like getting all tangled on itself and you have to like uncoil it. It's just, I don't know, I just think it's a more, I knit the sleeves really fast, and yeah, I really like that kind of construction, so I hope she keeps doing that. But yeah, this is knit from the bottom up. You knit the sleeves separately and then you join them. I did helical knitting on the body, but not on the sleeves. And I think this yarn is dyed so well that you really can't tell the difference between the different skeins. They were all of the same dye lot. I really love this sweater. It's really warm, it's really comfortable. It's a little bit cropped, so I'm wearing some high-waisted jeans, but enough, not so much that it's like higher than my jeans, like it does cover the top of my jeans. And yeah, the top has this really beautiful but subtle, Yampa's playing right under me, but subtle puffed shoulder, which I think is super cute. And then the top is a rolled hem, which I think just adds a little bit of warmth and kind of cinches in the neckline a little bit. I love this sweater, and I also love the book series that it is based off of, which is Harry Potter. And since I had kind of a hard day today, I thought that I would give myself the excuse to read a little bit from a series that has brought me immense joy and comfort for practically my whole life. So yeah, I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or if you were in England, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is obviously the first novel of 7 of the Harry Potter series, written by J.K. Rowling. I would be remiss if I didn't talk at least a little bit about the recent controversy that J.K. Rowling has been involved in the queer and specifically the trans community. And I would just like to say that I was extremely disappointed and really like crushed by J.K. Rowling's hatred. And it's something that I've thought a lot about recently, because this is not an author that I necessarily want to support, because I really disagree with her treatment of a marginalized community, and that is just something that is really ugly and just vile. I'm so angry with her. However, and this is a book series that taught me how to read, and a book series that I go back to time and again as an adult, even though it's a middle grade series. But I would say that the later books are definitely like adult fantasy books. It is a book series that I have found, that I've learned a lot from, that I grew up with, that brings me an immense amount of comfort and joy, and I will continue to read it and continue to talk about it because it's something that I just truly, truly love. And so I will do my best to try to separate Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling herself, which I know is impossible. And I know that me talking about Harry Potter is giving her the opportunity to kind of spread her word. But I do want you to know where I stand in terms of that controversy. But with that, I did just want to talk a little bit about this book. So I think everybody has heard of Harry Potter and knows the general premise, and so I don't feel that it's something that really needs to be discussed. Like, everybody knows what this book is about. And with that too, I also think that I don't necessarily need to read the beginning chapters, which is what I've been doing for my Vlogmas series. And so since I'm wearing the Diagon Alley jumper, I thought that I would skip ahead and read a little bit of this novel that takes place in Diagon Alley, and actually from the chapter Diagon Alley. Specifically, I wanted to talk about Harry's trip to Ollivander's, which is the wand maker that serves most of Great Britain within the Harry Potter universe. So let's go down a trip, let's take a trip down memory lane, huh? The last shop was narrow and shabby. Peeling gold letters over the door read Ollivander's, maker of fine wands since 382 BC. A single wand lay on a faded purple cushion in the dusty window. A tinkling bell rang somewhere in the depths of the shop as they stepped inside. It was a tiny place, empty except for a single spindly chair that Hagrid sat on to wait. Harry felt strangely as though he had entered a very strict library. He swallowed a lot of new questions that had just occurred to him and looked instead at the thousands of narrow boxes piled neatly right up to the ceiling. For some reason, the back of his neck prickled. The very dust and silence in here seemed to tingle with some secret magic. "Good afternoon," said a soft voice. Harry jumped. Hagrid must have jumped too, because there was a loud crunching noise and he got up quickly off the spindly chair. An old man was standing before them, his wide, pale eyes shining like moons through the gloom of the shop. "Hello," said Harry awkwardly. "Ah, yes," said the man. "Yes, yes. I thought I'd be seeing you soon, Harry Potter." It wasn't a question. "You have your mother's eyes. It seems only yesterday she was in here herself buying her first wand. 10 1/4 inches long, swishy, made of willow. Nice wand for charm work." Mr. Ollivander moved closer to Harry. Harry wished he would blink. Those silvery eyes were a bit creepy. Your father, on the other hand, favored a mahogany wand, 11 inches, pliable, a little more power and excellent for transfiguration. Well, I say your father favored it. It's really the wand that chooses the wizard, of course. Mr. Ollivander had come so close that he and Harry were almost nose to nose. Harry could see himself reflected in those misty eyes. And that's where Mr. Ollivander touched the lightning scar on Harry's forehead with a long white finger. I'm sorry to say I sold the one that did it, he said softly. 13.5 inches. You. Powerful wand. Very powerful. And in the wrong hands? Well, if I'd have known what that wand was going out into the world to do... He shook his head, and then, to Harry's relief, spotted Hagrid. Rubeus! Rubeus Hagrid! How nice to see you again! Oak, 16 inches. Rather bendy, wasn't it? It was, sir, yes, said Hagrid. Good wand, that one, but I suppose they snapped it in half when you got expelled, said Mr. Ollivander, suddenly stern. Yes, they did, yes, said Hagrid, shuffling his feet. I've got the pieces, though, he added brightly. But you don't use them? Said Mr. Ollivander sharply. Oh, no, sir, said Hagrid quickly. Harry noticed he gripped his pink umbrella very tightly as he spoke. Said Mr. Ollivander, giving Hagrid a piercing look. Well now, Mr. Potter, let's see. He pulled a long tape measure with silver markings out of his pocket. Which is your wand arm? Well, I'm right-handed, said Harry. Hold out your arm. That's it. He measured Harry from shoulder to fingers, then wrist to elbow, shoulder to floor, knee to armpit, and around his head. As he measured, he said, Every Ollivander wand has a core of powerful magic substance, Mr. Potter. We use unicorn hairs, phoenix tail feathers, and the heartstrings of dragons. No two Ollivander wands are the same, just as no two unicorns, dragons, or phoenixes are quite the same. And of course, you will never get such good results with another wizard's wand. Harry suddenly realized that the tape measure, which was measuring between his nostrils, was doing this on its own. Mr. Ollivander was flitting around the shelves, taking down boxes. That will do, he said, and the tape measure crumpled into a heap on the floor. Right then, Mr. Potter, try this one, beechwood and dragon heartstring, 9 inches, nice and flexible. Just take it and give it a wave. Harry took the wand and, feeling foolish, waved it around a bit, but Mr. Ollivander snatched it out of his hand almost at once. Maple and phoenix feather, 7 inches, quite whippy. Try. Harry tried, but he had hardly raised the wand when it too was snatched back by Mr. Ollivander. No, here, ebony and unicorn hair, 8.5, springy. Go on, try it out. Harry tried, and he had no idea what Mr. Ollivander was waiting for. The pile of tried wands was mounting higher and higher on the spindly chair, but the more wands Mr. Ollivander pulled from the shelves, the happier he seemed to become. Tricky customer, eh? Not to worry, we'll find the perfect match here somewhere. I wonder. Now, yes. Why, yes. Unusual combination. Holly and phoenix feather, 11 inches, nice and supple. Harry took the wand. He felt a sudden warmth in his fingers. He raised the wand above his head, brought it swishing down through the dusty air, and a stream of red and gold sparks shot from the end like a firework, throwing dancing spots of light onto the walls. Hagrid whooped and clapped, and Mr. Ollivander cried, Oh, bravo! Yes, indeed. Oh, very good. Well. How curious. How very curious. He put Harry's wand back into its box and wrapped it in brown paper, still muttering, Curious. Mr. Ollivander fixed Harry with his pale stare. I remember every wand I've ever sold, Mr. Potter, every single wand. It so happens that the phoenix whose tail feathers in your wand gave another feather, just one other. It is very curious indeed that you should be destined for that wand when its brother gave you that scar. Yes, Harry swallowed. Yes, 13.5 inches, you. Curious indeed how these things happen. The wand chooses the wizard, remember. I think we must expect great things from you, Mr. Potter. After all, He who must not be named did great things. Terrible, yes, but great. I love that scene. I also think that this book series was such a genius book series because, and I've already talked about another book series that takes place at kind of a magical school, and this also takes place at a magical school, but in a much more like strict way. Like, this is about a school for kids to learn magic. And I think one thing that I really love about this book, and I could talk for ages and ages about all of the different books and how they connect, but is the fact that these scenes that take place at the very beginning of this novel and of this series are then tied back to things that happen at the very end in the last book. And it's so interesting and so complex and so beautiful. And so I know that there are issues with the writer of this book. However, these novels really changed my life in a very real way. So yeah, wearing my Diagon Alley jumper, and I just finished rereading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. For some reason, I think Christmas to me feels very much like Harry Potter time, and so I think that I'm about to reread the second book in this series, and yeah. Alright, well, with that, I hope that everyone is staying happy and healthy and enjoying this winter season. I know it is a strange one, but like I said before, let's use books and knitting to escape to different places and learn from different people. All right, bye.